Hello, 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 hello. How are we all doing today? Hope we're all doing well. We'll start off with the fun thing for today. The reason that the stream is even later than I'd anticipated, as I fix my webcam a bit. The reason the stream is slightly later than I anticipated is because I was kind of distracted by something downstairs, because I was given something new. And I'm gonna call it the Vapotron 5000. This is this is my new vape pen. Now, yes, Super Anti-Spyware loves shouting at me. Go away, Super Anti-Spyware. This is the vape pen I've been using for ages, compared to the new one. There is quite the size difference. This one is a lot better as well. The Vapotron 5000. Needs an update, yo. It always needs an update. It's always shouting at me. I just ignore it. So, in terms of what I've been doing on Duneske, it's been painting grass quite a lot. I actually need to come over here, and I've no idea what I'm going to put into this area. This might be an auxiliary placeable area over here. What I do need to do is terrain detail. Get rid of this note for myself. You might notice that scribbling things out in G tends to be a case of having to know where you've already scribbled, or where you need to scribble. So let's have a look. Where was I working last time? I was working over here in this yard. So in terms of things, what have been done? Obviously you can see there's a lot of grass now. Hello Lee, and Hamish, and Yuso, and Matt. This shed now has interaction trigger. Why does it have an interaction trigger? Because it also has a bunker silo area. This is now officially a legitimate silage pit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually grab this and duplicate it. Wait for G to realize what I'm trying to do. There we go. And just nudge it over here like... Is it going to be nice if I have it like this? Is it going to be like wonky texture stuff? It's not actually far enough over, so if I grab this shed 4. This is taken straight out of the West Coast, by the way. This specific shed 4 model is taken straight from the West Coast. Yeah, now they're fighting with each other, so I'm just gonna grab shed 4 again. Just move it so they're side by side. There we go. And how is that looking for, like, the ground? It looks like it's not... Oh, it is floaty. Just the tiniest bit floaty, so I'll grab that from there. Set this to replace. And just move the ground up. I need that to be 1, 1, 1. We'll just move the ground up here. Level it off all nice and neatly like. There we go. Now back to smooth, and the easy bit where we just give little dabs of the smooth brush. So you don't even need to go ham with the smooth brush. It tends to do its thing quite nicely if you've got the opacity and everything set to 1. There we go. 1.4.2. So this is going to be quite a large yard by the looks of it. This is probably going to be yard as well. Do I have a goal for when I want to finish this map? Yes. It's going to be a secret. Hello, Ryan Sear. Ryan Keir, or whatever. Hello, Massey. I do have a goal in mind for when I want the map to be finished. And the people who know are myself, Simulate, and Landy Kid. That's the 3 people who know the date I have in mind for the first public play on the map. I've told them when I want the map to make a public gameplay debut. Don't forget to change the save ID, the second side while you're there. How do you do this, Matt? How do you change the save ID? Because the ID of this is 88449. The ID of this is 71751. Is that good enough? Or am I doing badly? Do I have all field definitions in? No. Hello, Yanis. Don't feel obliged to like moderate. You can just sit back and relax if you want to. I just felt like it was. You can't remember. Good. I'll ask Bullet Bill. See, if you'd mentioned this yesterday, I could have asked him last night. But oh well. For those of you who don't know, by the way, myself and Landy were talking to Bullet Bill last night. In his Discord, in his voice chat. Is that now... Yes, that is slightly magically hovering, isn't it? So if I just give this a little tweak like that, and then give this a little tweak like this, and then just nudge this down, like that, this is where OCD is kind of helpful, because it lets you do specific things pretty well. Hey, Axton David, how you doing, dude? That looks really nice now. It's beginning to come together, but there's so much I need to do yet. And obviously there's no detail work in this yard at all yet. That'll kind of be something I do later. Evening, Bullet Bill. Is this... There we go. When in doubt, stretch things out ever so slightly. It's beginning to look occasionally something similar to a map. I'm doing good, David. I've got tip calls on this one, don't I? Yes, I put tip calls on this shed. Magnificent. Giants ain't even looked at it yet. Yeah. It seems like... Oh, you didn't, dude! Can we have an aerial view of the map, please? Away we go! This is from the north looking... Yeah, this is from the north of the map, so this is the top of the map here, and I think this down here, where the river is the bottom of the map. Am I right in saying that? I think I am. This might be the... I think I'm right in saying this is the top of the map up this end. You missed that. Chris, you could have joined. There's nothing preventing you from joining. Do I want this shed to be repeated over here, though? Do I want 2 of these sheds in this line, or do I just want... I just want the one. Over to the shed collection. Right, what shed do I want? That's for the sheep. This one has a hole in the back. Yeah, that one... No. That's basically gonna be this. I've selected something and now the game's just like there. So it's gonna be this shed. I guess I could use this shed. Or this shed here. I'm gonna go with this one because reasons, and that's going into yard 3-4. So it's gonna stay there for now, and I'm just gonna select the tip call and Shift F to get there. Ah, these lean-tos don't have tip calls. That's an issue. That's something I'll have to sort. Oh good, the chat's broken. I'm gonna hang on, I gotta pop chat out.
They couldn't get any other way.
Pop out chat. Good farm layout I have in the middle of the map. Oh, the mayhem of the shed pack being overlapping itself magnificently. I could see somebody doing that as well. I could see somebody doing that somewhere down the road. Just deciding this is a good idea. For a tight yard. And just having the sheds overlapping. How often do I stream? It's usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But this week, this is the last stream of the week actually, Kieran. I am going to be going away for the weekend tomorrow evening at...
Hello, Dave! Is that Dave? Dave's there!
About 6:20... Well, about 6 PM, I'll be leaving here. To catch the bus. And, I'll be away until Sunday evening, and, just wanted a weekend to chill. Let's just set that as 0, and... Yeah, that's close enough. So, there's a thing here, and I'm not just extending this for the sake of it. There's a thing here where you can get lean-tos that are, like, hilariously huge. Like something that looks... If I extend this out along this axis too, you can get lean-tos that look like this here. And it's kind of hilarious to see them stacked full to the top with bales. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do that. Not stack it full of bales, but actually make the large lean-to, which it'll stretch the textures a bit and they might look a bit weird, but it is, I think it's a personal favourite kind of shed of mine, with just the lean-tos that are the same size as a normal shed, but just don't have any front on them. Whoa. And let's just do smooth. Gotta be a bit careful where I'm smoothing here, because I don't want exactly that to happen where I accidentally left or right click and that happens. Let's just set that in the ground enough that it's in the ground. That is actually, the tree is actually in the shed there, isn't it? It's kind of growing into the shed, so let's just move this tree in this direction a bit and just set it into the hedge a bit more. There we go. So that tree is going to be, actually these trees here are going to be an inconvenience for everybody. Hello, Dusty. I think it's fair to say, Oxy, that everybody's looking forward to Oakfield. I don't think you need half the community saying it. It's... Do you know what? I have legitimately seen sheds like that. Just wondering if vaping is worth it if you switch from cigarettes. Absolutely 100%. It's a quit smoking aid. The hardest part with vaping, honestly, is finding the exact machine that kind of suits you. And then the flavor of, ideally, you know, liquid with nicotine, and then the concentration of nicotine. There's a lot to think about, but it is very much worth it if you're quitting smoking to use one of these things. If you don't smoke at all, don't ever use these. I use them just because I am quitting smoking currently, and that's a struggle, but I'll make it through. I'll get through it eventually. Cold turkey again for you after next week. I mean, that works for some people. It doesn't work for me because I tend to just get angry at the world. Oh! Crap on a cracker. I forgot I had everything set to like 1. So what I'm trying to do here is just get rid of a dip that I spotted. So I'm going to bring this into the next field over a small bit. Just smooth it in so that the dip isn't that bad. That's still quite bad. I'd like to even just extend this out so that the... how bad is it on this side? That's quite bad on this side as well, so I'm just gonna... tweak this so it's a bit like it doesn't need to be 100% smooth, but I just want a kind of a reasonable transition down instead of it just being a an immediate drop. Because that's what I always complain about on maps, is when it's just a really severe drop all of a sudden. Something like zoom out and back in. Something like this actually can do with a bit more smoothing. And if you didn't know you could do this, the zooming out and in thing that I keep doing, that just resets where the near view actually puts the terrain detail info layer, or the terrain detail foliage layer, so it's really nice to do. Both style shades are very common in the UK too. Yeah, UK and Ireland maps, they're very similar. It's just Irish maps. I was saying this to Bullet Bill last night. Irish maps are so difficult to make. Like I rip on so many Irish maps, and I hate so many Irish maps. And the reason is because number one, I'm making my own, so I know exactly what I want on an Irish map, if that makes sense to you guys. And number two, because I know that there has to be so many compromises made. And that's the thing people tend to forget is... Like, you'll often hear me saying when I'm looking at a map, oh, this is a shame, but I can see why it's happened. And the reason is because usually when I say that, I can see where compromises had to be made. What do I think are the key things in Irish map? I think the people who make really good yards, they're kind of nailing the yard side of things, but then they kind of fail on the field side of things where... I'm going to use Dramart as an example here. Dramart has fantastic yards, but the fields are all squares. That kind of ruins it for me. Then you got maps that have like really nice fields, the yards are kind of fall a bit flat, or the roads are really wide and really kind of open, like Ballymoon. Ballymoon Castle has really open roads and kind of no field gates or anything. I feel like that's not right either. And there's so many pitfalls. I mean, Irish maps are there's no aggressors. Currently, no, but I'm going to be making some sim. Irish maps, it's literally, you make a British map, you shrink the roads down by about half. You basically want your hedges to be on the road. When can I do a drive around this map? When it's ready. I'll be doing drive rounds off camera, but I'm not going to be bringing it on stream. What about hills? It depends on what part of the country you're doing. Like around here, this map is kind of based in the valley here, so I mean, there's kind of rolling-ish hills. But there's not many of them. It is a very flat area I live in. But you can see there's still a few kind of rolling hills and bumps and humps. Am I making a map? Yes, that's currently what I'm doing on. What's my favourite Irish map? What's my favourite Irish map to save other than my one? My favourite Irish map that I've played... I can't remember the name of it now. It was for FS13. I'm gonna just go on FSUK real quick and see if I can find it, because that's where I downloaded it from, and I distinctly remember playing it from FSU or downloading it from FSUK. FS13. I am genuinely doing this, by the way. Maps. Was it this?
And I was like, that's cool.
No, it wasn't that one. This is where I'm like looking through the maps, trying to figure out which one it is. I can't see chat at the moment, by the way. So just bear with me while I... Do you know, I liked Glenballure actually, going back way back to FS13. That was quite nice. I always kind of liked that one. It felt very Irish. Killykeegan, that's the one that I played. That's the one that I just played the absolute crap out of it in FS13. It wasn't particularly well made, but it was a really authentic feeling map. Why does my camera keep moving up and down? The webcam? Because I'm jiggling my leg. If you mean the GE cam, I've been doing stupid things. If you mean the GE cam, it's because I have it basically bound to my mouse and I can do this. But Glenmalure can't do Wicklow for FS13. That was a fantastic map. I really like how that was put together. I maybe wouldn't play it now because there were things that did annoy me about it, if memory serves, but it was just so wonderfully tight. And the same with Killykeegan. Like, that one I almost definitely wouldn't play now because of some of the weirdness with terrain, but... Hello Harlan, has been a little while, yes. What I want to do here actually is I'm just going to grab a tip call off. Actually, tip call from this. I'm going to show you guys really roughly, because I'm going to be having to fix this later, I know this, how to do tip calls, just for funsies. So let's put it on the lean-to. So it is now on the back of the lean-to there. Let's bring it forward and see where it goes. Okay, so it's there. Move it over so that it's roughly in line with what... I will need to fix this almost definitely, because the way the tip calls work is hilariously wonky in-game. Just shrink it down so that it is mostly the right size. Because this is a weirdly, an oddly shaped shed, it is going to be kind of a compromise kind of tip call. So that's going to do for that side, and the joy with this is, because that'll do for that side, and both sides are identical, we just duplicate that. And you can just take tip calls off whatever sheds you want. It's pretty easy. Just bring it in there and duplicate it again, because we need one for the back as well. We'll rotate that through 90 degrees. Hello, Smimulate. What translation is this? X can be 0. So that'll be dead center. We just bring it all the way. Actually, can I set Z to 0 as well? Hey, I can set Z to 0. That is even better. And now we just rescale the size of it along there like that. And that's now a shed of tip calls. Very, very rough tip calls, but tip calls. And because the tip calls are bound to the shed itself, if I rescale the shed, the tip calls will actually rescale with it. Do I recommend making a small map for the MS135? You can use it on any map. You can use any vehicle on any map. I think the Massey 135 will work best on a map with small fields. Don't you have to run the script to generate the tip call each time or something like that? You only ever have to run that script once. It is an FS17 map, and then it's create ground collision map. You only need to run that once, like when you want to bring the map in game to test tip calls. If you're just kind of putting it all together, you can ignore that and generate the tip calls right at the very end, and then be like, oh, my tip calls are horrific. Does this have tip calls? It doesn't have tip calls. I'm going to need to generate tip calls for this as well. I'll do that later. You know, the mini-map look like Oakfield. How Oakfield looks. No, I can't. And the simple reason for that, by the way, if you remember last time I streamed, we were working on a yard. This is the yard now. I've put in a little house with a little garden, and there is a... It still needs some detailing put in, I think. In fact, I've just thought up something that it needs. Prefabs. Furniture. Is it in furniture what I want? No. Is it inexplicably in nature? That'll be under dynamic, for sure. Other? Is there... Oh wow, there's no barbecue thingy for the... Okay, we'll have to find that somewhere. Or put out another map. That's kind of annoying, actually. I did import those stones, I believe. Yes. But we're not working on this yard today. There is still some work to be done. I need to put a gate here. I need to... Whoop, not crash G. Need to kind of figure out what to do with this area, because it seems very big to be empty. I might put... Where are the sheds? Where's the shed pack? There it is over here. What I might do is I might extend that lean-to by putting this shed in front of it. Which I think would be kind of cool. I do also need to retexture parts of this shed, because I'm not happy with how it looks.
Hello, Dave. Is that Dave?
Paul
Dave
Callan,
there?
thank you very much for subscribing. Welcome to the RainbowDave Madhouse. Hope you enjoy your stay. Everybody's enjoying the dubstep, I take it. Everybody but me. So what do I want to do in this area then? Oh, I know. I know what I want. I want...
Hello, Dave. Is that
This
Dave? Dave there?
Canada Toby as well, thank you very much for subscribing. Welcome to the RainbowDave Madhouse. Hope you enjoy your stay. Enjoying is a strong word. I mean, I can skip to the next song. I think Sim's just entertained by the fact that it's me listening to this, and I am, I'll put it this way, he knows that I don't tend to like this kind of music, generally speaking. So I put this shed here like this. And here's where I come into the first of my many issues. Is I want this to be tight but not too tight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a radius. So that's 18 meters. By the way, this is totally how you measure in G's. You get. Actually, this brush I think. What one of them is it that conforms to the? No, it is this brush. Kind of conforms to the way the land sits. So I'm gonna say it's a 15-ish, 14-15 meter gap in between these two sheds, which doesn't look like it, but apparently is. I'm gonna nudge this back another small bit, and then just sit it over here. See how far off level this is. Very, in fact. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break my own little rules of no tilting sheds. Just tilt this shed so that it looks level compared to the ground. So it needs... Because it looks like the ground's got kind of a... Yeah, I'd say it's got a bit of a uniform tiltiness to it. So it is kind of up a bit at this corner, but that's easily fixed. It's easily fixed by just nudging the entire shed down to the ground a tiny bit. There we go. I think ish is a great unit for measurement for all things G. Yeah. There's been a mini mod dump on mod about 5 minutes ago. Meh. You hypocrite. How am I a hypocrite, Dan? I'm a cynic, if anything. There we go. Tilted sheds. Well, it's either I have to go. Does help to know the that is not set to remove, is it? Oh, it is. It's just that the brush is weird. Does help to know the foliage layers of whatever you're trying to paint down. Usually. Or at least know that 6 is usually fully grown, I think, with almost everything it is. I saw this ping off in a weird direction a second ago. Hang on. There's something wonky going on with the terrain here. No. Okay. No, Danny, that's not happening. That just tends to irritate people. I can't rotate that now. So I'm gonna do in the middle. I know there's no tip calls on that shed, by the way. Gonna grab, nope. Gonna grab this shed. It's gonna let me. There we go. Put this in. If you notice my mouse is jumping around a bit, it's because I'm using a new mouse. I'm using the same mouse as yesterday, which is new to me. Oh yeah, mod was a nice gimmick in FS15, and honestly, it was overused then to the point where it's kind of been ruined for everybody. Oh. That actually works, come to think of it. I was gonna try and do something even like different to this, but this is gonna be actually kind of cool for what idea I had. Haha. So if I plot that there like that, the roof does. The roof comes in. Please let me select. No, let me select this shed, please. Oh, that shed has windows, doesn't it? That shed totally has windows. It does. Okay, so let's kind of make a little driveway there then. Like... no, go like that. That's... about 6-7 meters. So you should be able to get most equipment through there. Let's zero this all off. And just rotate Y 90. Now how wonky is that going to get? Ah, it's good enough. Because what I want to do is... that is atrocious music. Hang on. There we go. Where's Lancy been? I don't know. Will this be seasons ready? It will be eventually. That's probably going to be something I'll be getting a bit of help with. Is seasons prep. Because that's where I run very weak. I can tell you guys all about how seasons mod works, but actually preparing a map for seasons, not something I'm particularly good at. Replace. Can I set the value only to 1? And yes. Just give a nice little embankment here like this. This is going to be fun to smooth out, I think. See how that smooths. That works. That's going to make some challenging terrain within the yard itself, which should be interesting. I don't know how this map's going to work with MR. You're currently sat on top of your wardrobe. Why are you sat on top of your wardrobe? Tommy, you have issues. Is Steam meant to be open? No, but it'll stay open until Sim starts spamming me, or Landy starts spamming me, or Dan starts spamming me, or Bullet Bill starts spamming me, or Oxygen David starts spamming me. This is a bad idea, isn't it? So let's select this shit over here then, and paste. So that... Do I even want this shit to be a child of this one? No. No, I don't. Let's go back up to yard 3-4. And paste again. Don't give them ideas. They already have ideas, it's just whether or not they're going to do it. This is 090, okay, so 090. So there's Dusty Dave. Actually, huh. That's interesting. What I can do with this is I can actually make a... this could be really interesting if it works out the way that I want it to. So if I merge them in like that... They don't match! Ah! Oh, they won't ever match. Ah, this is meant to be go with one of the smaller sheds, isn't it? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control W, replace that shed with the is it the 9x17? Yeah. Replace the 9x17. We'll just replace that one. Now we'll see how they... Oh, that's perfect. That is actually perfect. See you, Simulator. Hello, Toby Gaming. First live stream, you're about to go to work, and hello from Australia, good lord. Hello to Australia, hello to everybody in the world. Everywhere in the world. So what I'm going to do here, what I'm trying to do at least, is, and it should work, if I take this now, duplicate it, it's going to take a second, and then go 180, that's 190, 180, 180, and it might need to be minus 90, yes it does need to be minus 90, which is just going to flip that another 180 degrees. There we go. Is I'm going to make a mega shed. Which... it's going to require a bit more leveling and smoothing, but definitely could / should be interesting. I can use these two pillars here as the guideline. Is there visible? No. So I'm clearly doing this wrong by about an inch. What? That all melts together perfectly. Why isn't this going together perfectly then? Did I screw with the scale or something here? 111. 111. And this is wrong. At 111.
Hello, Dave. Is that Dave? Dave there.
Dan Mitchell, thank you very much for subscribing. Welcome to the RainbowDave Madhouse. Hope you enjoy your stay. Let's just make it so the poles are wider then. Which is possibly what I did over on this side. In fact, looking at the fact that there is the little tiniest hinting of a pole coming through there is almost exactly what I did on this side. There we go. That is... let's just match these up perfectly along this axis here. So that's not all perfect. So in theory this should all be perfect, but there is a gap in there. I can deal with double supports. Screw it. Because there's no way for me to get short of editing the sheds themselves in Blender. Which I might do. Replace. Let's remove, Dave. So just level out the land again. Actually, I want this to now be a smooth brush yet again. Decently wide smooth brush can get you very far. There we go. Because it just smooths out the... allows you to be a bit lazy, and it smooths out the inconsistencies in your terrain. Quite nicely if you use it just right. Even a small one could be very useful. There we go. And any of this, well, the actual middle shed seems to be short of it being how I was looking at it. No, that's perfectly on the ground actually. So that mega shed can just kind of sit there. I'm going to do that because I completely forgot to. So let me think what to do next as I try and find where I put chat. There it is. What's this yard for? It's a farmyard, Jordan. It's for farming. As my phone goes off, what's going on? Check my Google account security status. There we go. Hello, DIY Dylan. So the thing that annoys me about G. Yeah, you definitely won't be short on storage on this map. Which kind of... Some of these yards are going to be, or some of the planned yards, like this one, might well be changed into sell points or set pieces. Like, I'm kind of half tempted to change this into a churchyard. And have the church kind of here, and then have churchy things kind of dotted around it. Then have this one as kind of a garden center. Like this one has to be a yard. This one can be, I guess, a farmhouse with some land. Yeah, I'll be figuring things out as I go, and there's not going to be a shortage of yards. I think that's for certain. Graveyard with Easter eggs on the tombstones. Yeah, if all else fails, there's the church. I'm kind of half tempted to find one that... Way too many yards. Yeah. But Tristan, the thing is like... Let me look in real life. This is a real life yard. This is a series of houses, and I think farm. I think a small industrial estate actually. Everywhere that you see yard written down is a yard in real life. Which causes headaches for me because some of them are actually kind of more building yards than farm yards. Could put a camping spot, yeah. Got 96 likes on my last stream. I did actually, yes. I just clicked over and checked. Yeah, I've got an idea, hang on. I'm gonna go into this over here. And I want a satellite view. Thank you, please, Google. And I want you to get rid of labels. So if I bring this over here, get the stream and stuff up again, I can kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on. So if you look here, this is... Let's get it orientated correctly. This field here. So that's that field. So you can see here, I'm having to kind of improvise because there is a second field there. But you can see that there are houses here as well, and right there is a farmyard. If I can go into Google Maps and just drop this down here. You know, there's a farmyard there. Right next to the field. So kind of, if I zoom out, you can see there's a yard there with some trees, a yard there, yard there, yard here, 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 big landscaping area here, which I've turned into, I think, a yard in the map. Yard, 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 yard. You know, there are road names, yes, but bleh. you can see the amount of yards there are in real life. Like that big landscaping yard is this area here that I've turned into the cow. Ah, the cows is what's going over here. And a little field and then a secondary yard or something there. Like the hardest part of Irish maps is that 90% of them are going to be fields, yes, but the remaining 10%, the majority is going to be yards. Like, it's insane the amount of yards that... And like, here is going to be, albeit a small one, another yard. In fact, I've just realized I can do this. Where is the sheepy shed? So that I get an idea of what else I'll be able to fit into this area. I need to create a new transform group. I'll just call you... I'll move this later, but I'll call it... so transform... Sheeple. And I'll probably change it to sheep later, but I just like having the idea of the sheeple thing there. Some of these arable fields going to be grass? Yes. So where's the sheepy yard? Over here. So here's where I find out exactly how much this gets to be yard. So if I were to put this shed here, like this, yeah, you'd still have room for another shed or two to fit in kind of beside it. Actually, even if I were to move it right over to the extreme edge here, you know, you'd have room for more sheds, and it would actually be set kind of around here. You'd have room for... Bear with me one moment. As I just fix inconsistencies based on me changing where the hedges were, the hedge models. Actually, this would be concrete, this one. Let's just draw in some concrete. Now, with rough dirt with a low value. A bit of pig mud. Boom. Yard. You know, you could fit a shed, not a big one, but a shed here-ish. Definitely one or two here. Biggish one down here. And this would be kind of a yard in itself. And then, you know, I've not even started doing clutter yet, so that's going to be problems on its own. I'm going to duplicate this again and rotate it back. I've done this already, so I've actually made a kind of a set piece shed out of this just by flipping it on itself like that. But you know, it's difficult to come up with enough kind of yard designs that it looks good. And that they kind of are all distinct from each other. change the value to... Haha. Yeah, especially with Irish maps, because you've got so many yards that, like, even here, that's quite a large gap. But they're silage pits, so there would kind of be a large gap, and I will have some clutter in there as well. So it's not going to be... Okay, so there's going to be a huge gap in the middle of the yard somewhere. It's going to be a case of... There's going to be room to reverse, but that's probably about it. You like? Well, thank you very much, Nick. How's everyone today? Yeah, how is everybody today? I don't think I've actually asked that properly yet. It's actually just...
Hello, Dave. That Dave. Dave there.
And Nick, thank you very much for subscribing as well. Welcome to the RainbowDave Madhouse. Hope you enjoy your stay. Just kind of level this bit out here a bit, and we're gonna have fun smoothing out that edge. So smooth, and I only want to smooth along here like that. Actually, you know, let's smooth this down and see what we can do with it. What have I done so far? So today, what we've done is replace this shed, and these 4 sheds here, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I did also put tip cars onto this shed, and we also placed the shed over the sheep. The difficulty with map making, and that's what I'm trying to show off here, is that it's not just a case of, I haven't really been able to show this off too well yet. But it's not just a case of plonk things down and that's where they'll always be. But with farm sim map making, there are so many compromises that have to be made just for gameplay reasons. That it's insane. Like, I'd love to have this yard even tighter and have it being absolutely tiny. But I know for gameplay reasons, yeah, you're going to want to have a couple of big yards, and this might well be the main yard on the map, because I've just noticed you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 decently small. Yeah, I think this is going to be your main yard. Like this pairing here is going to be your main base yard, and then you'll have kind of this as... I actually want to just make a marking on this field here. Hang on. Terrain detail. I want this field to be arable. And then this one to be grass. This one to be grass. This one to be grass. And this one to be grass. As you can see, we've got the sheep there. It makes sense to have a few grass fields nearby. This field can be arable. This field can be arable. Do I want this to even be a field? Do you know what? The answer is yes. 0, 2... So, what was going to be a yard with... Oh, with George in it. George's sign has gone missing a bit, but it'll do. But we're going to change this into being a grass field. And George is going to keep his sign, and I'm going to fix up the sign itself, and it's all going to be wonderful, but this is going to be... Instead of being a yard, a field. Because I think I've got too many yards on the map. So just change this super quickly into being a grass field. It's going to be an interesting shaped one at least. Now you might notice I'm leaving quite the big grass headland around it, and that's because I want to be nice and I want courseplay to at least vaguely work on these fields. No, push that up a bit more like that, and then just hook it in there. And a nice little kind of peak to the field there. That'll do. The old yard designation goes away as this magically turns into a grass field. I'm gonna have to write grass field on it. Actually in cultivated texture.
Constantly play video games.
So I'll just throw down some little 0 and just kind of smallish. Not that small. Just put grass field. That'll do. Yeah, Dave, I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing. So some of what's currently yards may well just magically become fields. Like, I think this here is actually a good candidate to have a field extension. Yeah. Let's extend this field. Just like potato there so that I can get rid of the grass. Train detail 0. Actually, I want to paint in the grass here, don't I? First. Grass. Just put this all to 1 so that it paints nicely and evenly. So you can plant whatever you like in these fields. Just some of them will have walls now, apparently. Which, you know, some fields do here, so that's fine by me. Train detail 0, yes, perfect. And we'll just bring this down and around. Kind of roughly first. I guess you guys get to see how easy it is to draw in fields. Use a bigger brush. Yeah, thank you, Dave, for that idea. If you remember in the last stream that I did on GE, I said it's always a good idea to not take set pieces themselves, but look at the ideas behind the set pieces. Look at the ideas that have kind of happened in maps. And in some cases, like with changing yards into fields, that's a really interestingly shaped field now, actually. I like that. That's a really interesting shape, and I can kind of see where, thinking ahead, I can see where the field depths are going to be, because you can have one parallelogram kind of doot. Another one down here. Probably a small one here, and then a big one just to cover this area. So field depths on this field are going to be pretty easy. Any other fields, or any other yards that could magically become fields, and I think I've got a candidate here in the form of this yard, or currently yard candidate, because I can't think of what I could put in here. I genuinely can't, so it's going to magically go from being a yard. It was going to be the BJ originally, and now that I've put kind of the BJ in elsewhere, this is going to magically swap into being a yard. I'm going to get rid of the last bits of the concrete and bits that I don't particularly want. Can actually plonk down the corners of the field like this because I'm being smarto. So the field corners are going to be, that's way too close. No, that's not going to work at all. So let's draw this in like this. That'll be the corner of the field there. It's going to kind of follow this around. This is unplanned field creation. So I'm creating even more headaches for myself in a few weeks' time when it comes to... Is map making only for PC? Yes, because you actually need a special program to do it. So it is a PC-only endeavor, but you can bring maps to console from PC. And you don't need a big massive computer or a big massive desk or a big massive anything to do this. If you got a laptop, as long as it can run Farm Sim realistically, you can run Giants Editor. And you can find an area you like, make a map of that, you can invent it all out of your head, just make it up as you go along. You can make Old MacDonald's farm for all it matters. If you live on a farm, you can make your own farm in Farm Sim. And you can just play around with how GE works. If you want to get into modding, map making is probably the best gateway for it. Now, that's not saying it's easy. You know, map making isn't easy. You'll learn very quickly that there's a lot of complications and compromises and problems that you can have, and you will run into problems with Giants Editor itself that cannot be fixed. Like for example, the biggest bugbear I have is, I think every map maker has the same bugbear, because it is the biggest annoyance in GE for me and for I think most people. If I swap over to detail painting, you see these squares, giant white squares that are on the screen now where it says grass 100% here. These can take 4 textures, and that's it. Landy's live. Oh, I didn't see that, sorry. I'm just gonna finish this up. These can take 4 textures. If you're making a yard, you've got concrete, dirt. Well, you're always gonna have grass and dirt. They're just 2 givens. If you're putting a yard, you're gonna want some concrete and maybe some pig mud just to kind of loosen out the dirt texture a bit. If you're putting in, like, and then that's it, then you can't put anything else in. If you want to put in, we'll say, gravel yard into that same square of, I think Bullet Bill worked it out as 65 by 65 meters, you can't. There is no way you can put gravel in, and then there's about a 5-meter gap where nothing will fit in. No 5th texture will work in that gap. The lack of angles to the terrain, yes, is another little bugbear, but it's not a massive one. They only ever work at 45-degree angles. Tip calls will only ever work at 90-degree angles. I'm not making that up, they will only ever work at 90-degree angles. And you know, the more you get into GE, the more you learn about GE, the more you become used to it, the more you hate it. Because there are so many little tiny problems that just... Ah! And they're all easily fixed if Giants took suggestions from map makers that have been made to them and flat out ignored in some cases. But that is going to do it for today, guys. Aren't they coming out with the digging mod? What? No, I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this, Nick. But I'm gonna leave it here, guys, because my frustration with GE is growing, and I've got to I've actually got a load of things to do tonight. I know, Jameson. I'm finishing up now. I've actually got to get ready to. Gotta get packed for the weekend. So I will see you guys on Tuesday. Because I'm going away tomorrow for the weekend. I won't be streaming tomorrow. I'll be gone for the weekend. I'll leave you by saying I've been RainbowDave. You've been watching Farming Simulator 17, Duneske, Mapmaking, Magic, Mappiness. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.